Hello and welcome to the stream today. We're going to be watching Wolves against Spurs. What a big game this is uh, for Wolves and Spurs as I get post in my laptop's interesting. Um, that's really interesting. So, yeah, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Um, it's been an interesting week in football, hasn't it? Very, very interesting. There's not, I think, as an Arsenal fan, just to update everyone, since the last time I was streaming was it Tuesday? And Arsenal played Sevilla on Wednesday, played really well, got a 2-0 win, fantastic result. But Spurs, we did watch the game on Monday, and it was a bit of a car crash in the end. They really needed a big. I'm gonna take this off actually because it's a bit distracting. So they really needed a big result from that one. It was the chance for them to kind of establish themselves as top title contenders almost really. And I think losing that game, as much as you remove everything about the red cards and I say remove, they put themselves in that position. So the controversy around that isn't really it. I don't think that's it. I don't think the focus on it is necessarily justified because there wasn't any controversy about the red cards. They deserved them. They're both like Romero and who was it? Udogie could have both been sent off earlier. I think what could be seen as a bit more unlucky on Spurs' point of view is their injuries with Madison and who else was it? Van der Ven, who both got injured. I think Van der Ven was a hamstring, but he's out till the new year. Madison is also out till the new year. Pretty shocking. It's quite unlucky, really, but it does. I remember saying at the time it reminded me a bit of the game that Arsenal played against Spurs at their place a couple of years ago, and everything seemed to go wrong. And this is a game where everything did seem to go wrong for Spurs. Today is a chance to, if not completely recover from that loss, I think it's a chance to slightly recover and show, I think, more importantly, show they can play with just the same approach with this team compared to the team that was playing against Chelsea, which is basically the same team that we were seeing before. So we're going to have a quick look at the lineups here. We do have them. It's for Wolves. We've got Sarr, Semedo, Kilman, Dawson, Gomez, Hwang Hee-chan, Lamina, Gomez, Aït-Nouri, Bellegarde, and Cunha. So it looks like it's going to be Cunha behind Hwang Hee-chan. I know it's going to be Bellegarde behind Hwang Hee-chan. I know it's going to be Bellegarde behind Cunha. And Hwang Hee-chan, they've got him as Hwang Hee-chan playing on the right-hand side. Okay. I think it probably will be more of an adventurous formation than BBC are putting out there. I don't think it's going to be a straightforward 4-1-1. I do expect Wolves to go at Spurs. And now the question is, this Spurs team, can they approach the game in the same way as they have before? So we've got Vicario in goal, Porro, Dyer, Davies, Emerson Royale, and then Højbjerg, Bissouma, and Sarr in the midfield with Kulusevski, Son, and Johnson up front. A very different. You think about like Dyer and Davies at centre back. They are not fast. Neither of them are fast. I think Davies can get around a little bit, being a left back, but playing Emerson Royale especially at left back and Pedro Porro at right back, I don't know. Like they just don't have the options. I thought Emerson Royale played okay on Monday, sorry, but it wasn't amazing. And I think he let them down for at least one or two of the goals. So there you go, and that is the team. Another point I've got to make about this Spurs stuff is I think everyone's talking. They gave Spurs gave Spurs so much credit. I remember listening on the night thinking, why are they getting all this credit here? for a game which they've essentially thrown away. Because if you think about the first 15 minutes, they did really, really well. And I say thrown away, but this is the other point I was going to make, is I don't even think they did. I think Chelsea were turning the screw, and they were pushing for the equaliser before they eventually got it after Spurs went down to 10 men. Now, yes, Spurs went down to 10 men, and then Chelsea scored, but that was because of a penalty which was given away from the red card. So I don't think you can necessarily, you can't join the two together. They are separate things. I just, no, rather, yeah, it's not because of the red card that Chelsea got back in the game and won. It's because of the pressure that Chelsea had put on Spurs for about 15 minutes before they ended up scoring. So whether Spurs threw it away, I don't think they did. I just think Chelsea played better in the end, and they forced the errors from Spurs, which they did. And it'll be interesting to see if Wolves can do the same thing today, because this Wolves team are very adventurous when they attack, and I think they're better than people think they are, and I think this Spurs team are not as good as people think they are. And today will potentially show that. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Spurs are going to lose today. And that's not, it's not an Arsenal fan hoping for that. I absolutely just want to see a good game of football, first off. But second of all, I think this Spurs team is not. I just don't think they're all they're cracked up to be. The way they attack, yes, it's really good. But if you're able to not play defensively, because there is a key difference here. We're not talking about like Jose Mourinho, park the bus. Everyone's going to be sat back in a 5-4-1 and then hit on the break. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is an ability to try and keep the ball and then play the ball in behind and then try and take advantage of Spurs' high line. Whether Wolves play with such a high line, I doubt it. But if they do, we're going for a really, really good game, because Chelsea played a high line against Spurs, and we know how that finished. So it's a fantastic spectacle, I think, this one. We'll see what happens. Thinking about the rest of the weekend, we've only got about 8 minutes till kickoff. You might notice as well, before we talk about that, we've got a few new graphics. So we've got the little score thing, which is just here. And we're going to still have the lineups. We've got the stats from last time. This time I've remembered to update the chat, so that'll actually turn up in the thing. And we've also got the table as before. Looking at the table, Spurs obviously with that defeat fell behind City, and it does look rather ominous that City are top of the table already, and we're only 11 games in. And I wouldn't really say that City have necessarily played that well this season. To be fair, neither have Arsenal, and they're pretty close as well. And Liverpool, I think of the four, I think Liverpool have probably played the best. If you include the Spurs-Chelsea game, Liverpool have played the best. If you don't include the Spurs-Chelsea game, I think Spurs have played the best football. It's a pretty tight top of the table at the moment, and then Villa are just behind Arsenal, 2 points behind them. It does mean if they can keep that up, Arsenal playing Villa in a few weeks, that could be a really big game. But Arsenal have got 4 games coming up, which I'd expect us to win all 4 of them, I think. And if we do that, there's a good chance we can end up top of the table by then, possibly. We're talking, I think it's the middle of December. And then for Wolves, surprisingly, they're right down in, they're 14th on 12 points, which is ridiculous. Given how good I think their form's been really good, but they've been done over in a couple of games, and they don't deserve to be down there. I think they should be above Forest. They should be definitely above Palace, above Chelsea, maybe even above Brentford. I'm really surprised Brentford are as high as 9th. But they've pulled out, I think their win of the weekend, definitely last weekend even, that definitely helped quite a lot, I think, with this team. So, speaking of games coming up, I have established, as the teams are coming out here for the start of the first half, I have established what games we're going to be covering in our schedule. If you have a look on Twitch, If you don't know, I stream on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time, and you're free to watch on both. Absolutely. Excuse me. Um, so the Twitch stream, where are you now? Where is my? Oh, the thing isn't there. I can't remember where my thing is. I can't remember where it is. Oh, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is a list of games. In fact, I've probably got it on there. That's a good point. I'll have a look on this. So tomorrow, Chelsea against City. So it's funny actually. We watched Tottenham against Chelsea in the week on Monday, and now I'm watching Chelsea Man City. Now over the international break, there really isn't that much going on at all. There really is not much going on. It's not much worth watching. So I'm not going to be streaming almost at all. I might potentially do a. I might potentially do like an England game, possibly. But both the England games look pretty shocking. Let's be real. So I'm not expecting to do any streams until the 25th. Now on the 25th we've got two games potentially. We've got Man City Liverpool, which is a big game to kick off the return to the Premier League on the 25th, and then Brentford against Arsenal. And then we've got Everton against Man United on the 26th. And then in the week after that, we've got PSG Newcastle and Arsenal against Lens in the Champions League, with obviously updates on the other scores as they happen. And then Arsenal against Wolves. I can't stream that because that's a 3:00 kickoff. I might potentially do. Oh no, I won't be able to because I'm actually busy anyway, so never mind. And then 4:30 on the Sunday, City against Spurs, which is a really big game. That's the 3rd of December, and then the 5th of December, midweek games in the Premier League. We've got Luton, Arsenal, and then Thursday the 7th, we've got Spurs against West Ham, and then the Tuesday after, PSV are playing Arsenal, but I don't think I'll be able to stream that because I'll be busy, because that kicks off at 5:45 for some reason. That's as far as my schedule goes right now. So it's going to be, roughly speaking, between 2 and 3 streams a week, most of them centering around the weekend. And I also, I've carried on talking without talking about the new branding, which is Total Football Live. That's what we're going to be calling this stream from now on. So I've renamed my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, and I've also kind of redone a bit of the designs. I don't know if they've necessarily shown up. It doesn't look like they have. But I'm going to be starting to use a few thumbnails and bits and pieces for that. So hopefully that looks good. And if you've got any feedback of anything I do, anything you want to see in the stream or anything like that, then feel free to have a look. And if you're watching this after the event, I'm hoping to potentially do a kind of a highlights of reactions, if that's the best way of saying it. I think to potentially do that, but I don't even know if I'll have time because I already do 2 other jobs alongside this. So this is really what I do, because I do this because because I enjoy watching football, and that's kind of it really. It's nothing professional. I'm not looking to be a professional in this kind of thing at all. The entertainment industry is very, very difficult to get into, but it's kind of just to create a community, and I hope you guys can enjoy watching the football with me and discussing it, and essentially talking about how Spurs are going to lose. No, I was joking. But yeah, it's talking about how football progresses over time. Yeah, and even though I acknowledge that I'm an Arsenal fan, but even though that is the case, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm going to let that change my judgments on what on how games happen. Because generally speaking, I like watching good football. Even in the days when Arsenal were doing terribly, it was like about 5 years ago, when we were finishing like mid-table. I would still watch games because and if anything, it would probably be easier to watch the top teams play because I knew Arsenal weren't getting near it, and it was a lot more fun to watch back then. Now, when I watch the big games, I know Arsenal are kind of near thereabouts, there or thereabouts even, and that kind of makes it a bit more nervy because you kind of want the teams around you to lose, obviously, and you want Arsenal to be winning. So, but it's not. I'll always, if I think Arsenal are doing rubbish, I'll call it out. I did hear talking about one thing as the game should be kicking off pretty soon. I would have thought, but they're just playing the last post at the moment. The the big one of the big points that came out of the Sevilla game, people were still criticising Havertz, which I think comes down to this opinion that it's all about the end product, which I don't understand for the life of me, because Havertz is not playing in the role that I think he's not playing in a role that really is similar to Xhaka from last season. He's not playing in a role that's similar to Odegaard this season. He's more playing in a role that kind of links up the play. And I think the thing that he could probably try and do a bit more right now is just being a bit more clinical in passing and shooting in the final third. But apart from that, there really isn't much else to say, to be fair. So we are about to start. So I'm going to get this to start when the referee blows his whistle. Oh no, that's a false start. Oh my days. And it's actually asking me to log in. Great, cheers. Cheers. Okay. Right, I think, oh no, let's just check that. Just check what the time is. They're on 17 seconds, so a couple of seconds ahead. That should be fine. Yeah, there we go. So we're live and we're away. Wolves are just keeping the ball at the back at the moment, just trying to kind of play the ball through. Spurs are playing in dark blue and Wolves playing in the old gold shirts. Whether this is going to be, I think, judging by the fact the Wolves are playing a bit deeper, they're not pushing up as much as you'd think. I think we could be in for a bit of a dull game. We'll see, because that's definitely not the start I was hoping for. But I mean, I remember I saw one stat about the game between Chelsea and the Spurs that the ball only spent about 40 minutes, 45, was it 40 minutes in play or something over the 90 minutes? Which is a bit ridiculous, gotta say. It's a bit ridiculous. His Wolves initiating the press from the front here. Ben Davies tried to play around it, and he did just about manage to. Ben Davies with a bit of space now. It's pretty clear that Wolves are happy to allow the centre-backs to be able to play out, but of everyone else, they're pressing. Definitely pressing Eric Dyer, but they're leaving Ben Davies to do what he does. That's a foul. Oh, that's an interesting ball. It's gone all the way through to Kulusevski on the other side. This is dangerous. He scored earlier in the game against Chelsea. That's a lovely ball across. Oh, and it's 1-0 already. What a goal. It was shocking defending, though, I've got to say. Absolutely shocking defending from Wolves. It's a great ball in behind from a little flick in behind from Kulusevski. I think it's Son who overlaps. I'm not sure. Oh no, it's not Son who overlaps, is it? He's in the middle there. So someone overlaps. Not absolutely sure. Spurs are winning already. 1-0. Oh, Porro does. Okay, so Porro gets there. Porro overlaps, and it's just. I don't understand what this defending is, man. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. And it's 1-0 to Spurs already. This could be a long morning or afternoon. Great. Well, there you go. There's all that build up, thinking that Wolves are going to cause problems. To be fair, Wolves are playing Arsenal soon. So if Spurs end up winning this game, I'd expect Arsenal to beat this Wolves team pretty easily as well. That was some really, really good play, to be fair, from Porro. And I think a lot of it was just, again, this is why I think some people were saying it might not necessarily change how Spurs play, because they can always move players in similar positions to the where they had like Maddison, where Maddison was playing, and instead of Maddison, we've got Højbjerg today, who is a bit more defensive in approach. It'll be interesting to see whether he continues to do that or not. Looking at the game right now, I think he is quite kind of deep. He's picking up the ball quite deep just to try and kind of play the ball out. But yeah, the overlapping fullbacks is something that anyone can do, especially Porro. I'm not absolutely sure whether the left back is Emerson Royal is going to be particularly comfortable doing that. But Wolves look very what's the word I'm looking for? Stale in their press. They don't look energetic at all, which is maybe it could be a 12:30 thing, with it being a 12:30 kickoff. But there you go. That is kind of how it is. That's a nice ball into Son. Plays it out to Johnson. It's had a very good start. He's going to take a shot. No, he's going to give it to Son, who's got a lot of space. Højbjerg back out to Kulusevski, trying to dribble inside. Goes back out to Porro. Porro again. It's just a nice, comfortable position for Spurs to be in. What a start they've had, man. What a start. I just would not have expected. Wouldn't have expected Spurs to be able to come out, especially against Wolves. Like I do sometimes think that it comes a little bit down to the luck of the draw as to when you play these games. A 12:30 kickoff away from home. That's a tough challenge on Johnson there. It does come down to kind of when you're playing them. A 12:30 kickoff away at Wolves isn't the worst. It could be a lot worse than that. Playing away from home against Wolves at an evening midweek kickoff or an evening weekend kickoff, that's a much tougher ask. A really, really tough ask. There are some games towards the end of the season where just pressure is just there. It doesn't matter when you play the game. There is just pressure there regardless. But I think Wolves, especially their players, will be lifted by the fans more in a evening kickoff, which, let's be fair, the fans are probably more raucous because of what's available for them to drink in an evening kickoff. Whereas in the morning, I'm not saying in the stadium, obviously, but it's later in the day. There's more opportunity for that kind of thing. Whereas I think at this point, this game is an easier game for Spurs just because they're playing Wolves at 12:30. Might sound like I'm just being salty, but yeah, it's a nice little shimmy from Wolves in the middle of that ball. Right, he's going to get there. Okay. Wolves need to try and challenge this Spurs defence here. Oh, that was well played out by Spurs in the end. They've got to try and put pressure on this Spurs team because at the moment they're finding it too easy. Finding it way too easy. That's a nice ball in behind. Oh, Brennan Johnson. I tell you what. He gets the header there. Well, it's not Johnson, sorry. It's Sarr. Sarr was in behind there. and he got taken out by the defender, having got the header to the ball. I'm surprised that wasn't even, doesn't sound like it's even being looked at. It's a nice touch from Bellegarde, and now Semedo's away down the right hand side. It does look like Wolves are playing with a front two. That's an interesting ball. It's gone out to Juan, I think, and Davis has taken a blow to the head, which I think he's fine. He's on his knees. He'll be all right. It's just, yeah, this goal, it's really good, but the problem is the defenders. So that the fullback, I don't think the fullback really has a choice, because even if the fullback stays back and doesn't track Johnson's run, Johnson's in on goal anyway because the ball's ahead of him. So the problem really there, the issue is with the centre backs who don't track back with the ball. They just kind of stay as if they're trying to play offside, which is silly. I think a lot of it though is down to the ingenuity of the back heel from Kulusevski. That's what completely ruins this Wolves defence, because they're not expecting. That's nice little play from Bellegarde. But yeah, the Wolves defence were taken apart by that flick, because they would have probably moved back. Oh, that's a lovely touch from Wolves. They're attacking now down the left hand side, and they're in on goal. This is a great chance. Oh, blocked by Davis out for a corner. That was a really good chance there. Really good chance. And if Wolves are going to win this game or kind of cause problems for Spurs, they need to be clinical in these opportunities, because that was a good effort from Cunha, I think. He just kind of drills it across, and it's an easy block in the end for Davis. But yeah, pretty shocking start from Wolves, but they seem to have gotten back into it. Corner for Wolves. They're just a bit of shoving and everything. That should be headed out. It's an awful corner, that. Absolutely shocking again. And now Kulusevski could go on a break. He's put a bit of pressure on, but Wolves get the free kick. Kulusevski naturally is disagreeing. There you go, Wolves down the left-hand side now. Starting to build a bit of pressure. Bellegarde's in again. That's a really good cut. Goes over both of them in the middle. Semedo is going to go for the shot. Well, blocked again. Can Spurs get the ball back? No. Wolves keep the ball. And this is more like it from Wolves. Can you imagine if they hadn't, and the refs stopped the game here? Someone's been injured. Not quite sure what happened. Can you imagine what this would have been like if Wolves hadn't conceded that early goal? Where does this injury happen here? We don't know. Well, they've not shown us. Good job. TNT Sports. Oh, dear. It's not great, this, from Wolves. I've got to say. The last 5 minutes have been okay. Last 2 or 3 minutes have been okay, but I think Lourinho is the one who's down. But I think apart from that, they've really not been good enough. What happens here? So the ball goes out. Okay, so he does win the ball. It's not going to be a red card, don't worry, Spurs fans. But Lamina gets caught by Højbjerg with a trailing foot. It's just foot on foot. It shouldn't be too bad. Something got with my headphones there. That was weird. Yeah. There you are. No issues with the stream so far, which is nice. So Lamina is getting up, so he should be fine. It's a big weekend of football, to be fair. for Premier League teams. So there's not that many 3 o'clock kickoffs, but Arsenal playing Burnley at home should be pretty straightforward. If you just give me a second, I do actually need to send a couple of messages across. Right, let's see. Welcome, Kanto, to the chat. Why is that not turning up in my... Okay, right. Sorry, Kanto, I haven't seen that chat. But yeah, this is... Kulusevski's in on the left-hand side here. It's a great block again. I wouldn't necessarily say that... I'm not going to go so far as to say that Spurs are lucky. They're not lucky. They've played well this first 10 minutes or so. The last few minutes, Wolves have started to come back in the game. But as I mentioned earlier, the fact that Spurs are playing this game 12:45 or 12:30 in the afternoon away at Wolves, I think if I was going to choose any time of the day to play Wolves away from home, it would be 12:30 on a Saturday. I would have that because I'd guarantee that my players would be up for it. Not so sure that Wolves players will be as up for it because the home crowd won't be at it at all. I'm going to see if there's a way of me getting my Twitch chats on here because there's Spurs breaking through in the midfield. Nice tackle though from Wolves. They do end up getting that back. Oh, that's not it. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's only working for the YouTube chat that chat on the thing. Let's see. Gonna try and get the chats up here. Is he onside? Fine. He has gotten. Oh, careful. It's a nice ball to Bellegarde. I'd be really surprised if this is onside because the players weren't even sure. Wolves are attacking though. Nice ball out wide again. Nice ball. Ball in the box. On for a corner. And it is onside, so there you go. Pop out chat, that's what we're after. Okay, I might just keep it like that for now. There you go. There you go. Right. You think that Spurs will be 8th at the end of the season? I think that's a bit of a... Well, we'll see. I'm not as brave as you are, let's say. Johnson's trying to chase this down. I think the way that Postecoglou's got this team is not... To be fair, it's not as much about how good Spurs are. It's just how rubbish everyone else is. You've got Man United should be up there, but they're not. I don't think they've got the squad depth or the quality of player. Oh, it's unlucky from Wolves. They haven't got the squad depth or the quality of player to be able to push this this Spurs team. I don't think. They absolutely haven't. They haven't definitely don't have enough. I don't think to push into the top 6 even. I think this could be Man United's worst season in quite a long time. Vicario's being pressed here. That's it wasn't a particularly good ball. He gave the ball away there. Let's think. Chelsea are obviously they're a growing project, but they're not at it yet, and I think they're going to need a really good second half of the season if they're going to finish in that kind of top 6 bracket. Think of Villa, good at home, but pretty shocking away from home. I watched them play Nottingham Forest last weekend. They weren't very good. Who else is playing? Brighton, I think they've obviously got European football, and I think they're going to struggle to replicate the form of last season. Um, that's a lovely turn. Eight Nuri is in here, and that's a nice ball. Oh, Juan couldn't pick it up. That's unfortunate. So Mado in on the right hand side, but Vicario's got that, no problem. I think what I might try and do is put the chat. If I'm going to use chat, I'm going to make two different chats using the YouTube and Twitch chats, and just put them side by side and do it that way. Probably something to do maybe over half time, possibly. Um, Spurs just keeping the ball deep now. That's a terrible ball out by Højbjerg. This is the thing about playing someone like Højbjerg compared to Maddison. I don't think Spurs have really got anyone in their team that can do that Maddison role. It's like that kind of attacking midfielder, but who can also track back for the midfield. I don't think they've got anyone like that. And obviously they missed out on Richarlison as well. He's had a procedure of some kind, so we'll see what happens with that. So I think he shouldn't be out for too long, but it's obviously not available today. So if Son were injured, I don't know who else they would. Oh dear, that's a terrible tackle. He's just stood on the back of his foot, and his boots come off. Ouch. That is shocking. Apparently, Wolves are the most booked team. Interesting. Okay. Eric Dyer's been spoken to by the referees, probably because people have had a go at the ref a little bit here, and they probably shouldn't be, which is fair enough. I think the refs get enough stick as it is. They shouldn't really be going at it a lot. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't be giving refs so much. Even if they get stuff wrong, there's a way of doing it. There's a few things I think that need. I don't know if they turn up today, then there's definitely a few things that would be good to change. One of them being the one of them being the way the offside's done. So at the moment, if you're offside, but the refs don't catch it on the field, they have to go and draw lines on VAR manually, which is fine, but and it does work most of the time. But on the odd occasion, it doesn't work. It's a bit of a farce. In UEFA competition, Spurs have just lost the ball in the midfield. Think they're going to get it back. Goodness me, that was dodgy from Spurs, and he just smashes it out. Very fortunate. Whose throw is it? Come on, guys. Didn't see a signal from anyone there. Is it a throw to Spurs? It is. Okay. Yeah, so in UEFA competitions, Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League, they have an offside system where it's caught as the game happens. And semi-automated offside, which we need it in the Premier League, and it is good technology. And I can't imagine, given how the Premier League is awash with money, I don't know how they can't implement that. Here's a good ball in behind. Can he get this? Oh, has he fallen down? He has just fallen down there. You can't believe he hasn't got a free kick. Yeah. I was never convinced when he got in behind there. So I was right then. Huang Hee-chan is playing down the middle, I think. Yeah. And even though the lineup said differently. That's weird. Another short pass from Spurs. They're definitely nowhere near as good on the ball. Nowhere near as good. And this is quite worrying. Let's be clear. This is quite worrying for a Spurs team, because the players they're missing aren't just missing for a game. They're missing. Udogie obviously is. I think he'll help the Spurs team quite a lot when he comes back. He's only got one game ban, I think. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's only got a 1 game ban. Højbjerg is running in behind, and Son plays it back out, and eventually it's found its way to Johnson on the other side. Somewhat predictable, that style of play, and it ends up back with the Spurs players at the back. To think about the first 24 minutes here, I'm not. I am surprised at the fact that Wolves haven't really tested Spurs a bit more. I think they really should be. Wolves are trying to get, but I can't really see any traps that Spurs or that Wolves are setting here. By the way, if you look at their pressing, it's pretty much, oh, they've slipped again. This is very, very scrappy. Very scrappy. Oh dear. Both teams just giving the ball away so much there, and that's a ball in behind for Johnson. He's going to get there. Son's looking for the ball in behind, but he's not going to get it. Son gets it, and again, it's just game management. I think from Spurs' point of view, play this out. If you see an opportunity, take it. But this is why I'm a little bit concerned about Spurs, because they've tried this like game management, keep the ball at the back and play it around Wolves. But then they throw in a ridiculously shoddy pass, and they open themselves out to a counter, which I think that's needless. Really, you don't need to do that. That's another poor ball. That I'm just giving it away. Wolves could potentially break here, but I don't think they've got enough men forward. And this is where I think the lack of synergy in this team is going to hurt Spurs. Definitely going to hurt Spurs. It's a nice ball in behind. Oh, he's fouled him there. Yeah, definitely fouled him there, Pedro Porro. Absolutely. Let's see if I can. Let's do this. Do that. That's not it. Huang played that pretty well. It's gone out to the left-hand side. Chance to put the ball in the box. That's not a good ball. Another thing to bear in mind as well, Eric Dyer and Eric Dyer and Davies are not the tallest. Definitely Davies, especially, not the tallest. That's a foul. Yeah, definitely giving that away. Oh. Okay, apparently can't do that then. That's annoying. Vicario, that's a dodgy pass. What's he doing there? Yeah, it's too much. Too much. What's he done there? Brennan Johnson's down, clutching his face, looking at his face. Ooh, that's unfortunate. That's fine. I don't think that's necessarily a booking or anything like that. It just accidentally falls onto his hand. Yeah, it is what it is. Definitely a man's game, this game so far. Absolutely. Right, let me just see if I can sort this out. So we've got Wolves just being done there. And now Spurs trying to play it in behind for Kulusevski, but that's well played. Kulusevski tries to get in with a tackle, and that's a terrible challenge, that. Didn't get the foul, though. Goal kick. Højbjerg's down. Højbjerg, I think, gets the ball first and then gets taken down, but you kind of need to see it again to know for sure. Ref was right there. I see. So he gets the ball first, but then he falls over. He needs to get booked for that. Ref, you need to book him. That's shocking behaviour. Absolutely shocking. Right. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Half an hour gone, almost here. 1-0 to Spurs. I think outside of the goal that Spurs have scored. Oh, it's in here. Johnson into Son, but the goalkeeper gets there first. I was about to say, just as I was about to say that, Spurs almost scored. But outside of the goal they've scored, they've really not threatened Wolves that much. Now, that might be part, and Arsenal do this quite a lot, to be fair. They go 1-0 up. They use the game state to control the game. That's a lovely touch from Bellegarde. Really, really nice. Could be in behind here, Wolves. We've got it on the left-hand side. Very comfortable possession. Got to be careful here, though. These passes can't be under hit. You need to make sure that you're getting it across. That's an interesting ball. That's just about got past Johnson there. He's kind of fortunate. It's another foul. Oh, guys. Hwang Hee-chan and Johnson. It's not the first time that they've got at each other, and Johnson seems to be very... So he's got in there late on Hwang Hee-chan, and then Chan, I think, maybe kicks out a little bit there. It's all a bit stupid, though. They're just kind of tapping each other's legs, looking to trip each other over. Not a fan. Not a fan. Postecoglou's not happy with something, and because it's a free kick to Wolves. But I think, to be honest, he was the first person to initiate the foul. So that's a really good play from Wolves. Well done. Gets the ball out. Lamina. Spurs' possession has been a lot more than Wolves. That's fair. It's a lovely ball, that. Into Semedo. The ball in behind. Oh, he gets that, though. Again, it's these passes that they're just being misplaced so much in this game. It's not what it's not what Wolves need, especially. They need to be able to play through this press a bit better. The ball in behind. That's really far. Wow, what's gone on here? Spurs have they're all over the place. Lamina with a great save from Vicario. It was a really good driven shot across there. But Spurs were completely, like, they had an overlap on this right-hand side of Semedo, and Spurs didn't have anyone covering it, so it was just a simple switch to the right-hand side. I think it's just about going in as well. Just about going in. Corner for Wolves. It's flicked. I think he's onside here. Cunha gets the ball back in the middle. It should be taken by Vicario, and it is. Very simple. Well played. Vicario is a little bit hasty in playing that ball out there. I don't think he necessarily needed to do that. You've got to be careful, this Spurs team. They want to try and catch this Wolves team on the break, but I don't think they're going to allow you to do that, really. The way that Spurs win this game is they just take control of it, suffocate Wolves, and then break them down that way. But I just don't think they look able to do it. And this is exactly what I think a lot of people were talking about. The way that Spurs defend from the front. They're not really doing that right now, and they're being outplayed. Having said that, I remember hearing about Spurs. I wasn't watching this game, but Sheffield United, they were winning. Spurs took a really long time to get back in the game and eventually won 2-1, but they were very, very fortunate. Kelman wide to Semedo. Johnson is being pushed over, and he gives away a corner. Not clever from Johnson, that. Really not clever at all. Very, very silly. Not a fan of that from Johnson, but it does look. It just looks like he wants to get involved in a fight as Johnson. Maybe it's just because he's young, but he's just not. He's not been at it at all. Kilman in the middle. That's easy clearance. Going to try and get the ball back in the middle here. That's blocked out for a corner. But we've got 10 minutes left. I think outside of the first few minutes, Wolves have been pretty good. They've threatened a lot more regularly in the last 10 minutes or so. They're starting to get in behind this Spurs team, which shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, Spurs have got some difficult fixtures coming up as well. It's worth mentioning that. If we just have a look at the Spurs games. Spurs clear it for a throw. So Spurs' next game is Villa at home, which is tricky, but I think I'd expect Spurs to win that. Villa are pretty horrible away from home, but they will threaten. It's a lovely ball, that. Wide. Lamina in the middle. That's an interesting touch. There's a lot of movement from Wolves now, which I like. It's a lot, but it's offside. Definitely offside. Yeah. Definitely offside. So they've got Villa at home, City away, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home, and then Forest away. If we're going to find out anything about this Spurs team, it's going to be in the next few games because they have some very, very difficult games. I am watching the Man City game, the City Spurs game, and then Spurs against West Ham as well. So all of a sudden watching more Spurs games than I am Arsenal right now, which is a bit ridiculous. But there you go. That's how it is. Wolves 0, Spurs 1 though. It's a nice ball out wide. We've got the space now. It's good as well. That driven ball out to the fullback gives the fullback time to be able to play that kind of pass and play the ball out from the press. Always seems to be. I think it's that fullback tends to be the spare player in the press for Wolves. That's nice from Porro. He just about gets that out. Just have to bear with me because I don't have an ability to be able to have all of the chats on my screen. I've got the Twitch one there, but then I'm not able to use the other one because my Twitch chat doesn't connect to Restream for some reason. That's a foul. Yeah. Wolves a little bit too aggressive in the challenge there. I'm not a huge fan of the. I think that I remember watching years ago. This was. I remember watching the Man City documentary on Amazon, and you saw Pep Guardiola doing the warm ups, and one of the things he constantly said was, "Don't foul, don't foul, don't foul, don't foul." And the reason for that was, yes, you want it to be physical, but if you foul someone in the press, you completely reset it, and you allow the team to get out from that press. If you put pressure on them but don't foul them, you force them to have to play out of it, and the less technical teams in the league will struggle to do that, such as Wolves. I mean, Wolves aren't necessarily that technical. That might be offside. Chan is pushed off. There you go. He's offside. And that, yeah, it's got to be said. They've not. I think is he offside? Yeah, he's offside. Yeah. And that kind of approach from City is probably the kind of approach that this Spurs team need to take. I think really, they need to take it, because if they don't, they're not going to. They're not going to get anywhere. I think they're going to keep fouling in their press, and Wolves as well. Although I think the way that they press kind of has to be physical, because they don't necessarily have the technical ability to play through this Spurs team. But well, they've only got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes to see out for this Spurs team. Keep the 1-0 scoreline. They need to. I think they really need to keep this at least. Maybe even extend it till half time, but keep it at least. Some of this build-up play is interesting from Spurs. They got to that point in the midfield, but then they just like 3 in the midfield. Well, so 2 centre backs, and then the defensive midfielder coming deep and joining them, and then you've got Højbjerg and Sarr either side of Basuma. Okay, they played it through here. That's nice. Son's away. Ish. Passes it on, but that's a terrible ball by Son. That is. Wolves could potentially get in on the counter here. That's a nice ball behind, but no. Headed away by Dyer there. Basuma. And he gets. Sarr gets a foul. And as an Arsenal, I'm always going to keep kind of bringing Arsenal perspective into this a little bit as well. As an Arsenal fan, can't believe we drew to this Spurs team. Like we absolutely should have beaten them. The way that we play, I think it's perfect for dealing with this team. But we just weren't able to. Well, I think when we went 2-0 up and then we conceded that stupid goal with Jorginho losing it, and that kind of reset the game again. It just was what it was. But I think we can definitely beat this Spurs team. Especially now, that like if we played them now, I think we'd definitely beat them, because they just don't have the players to threaten us right now. But yeah, it is a good team. Wolves just need to. I think they could probably do with a bit more threat from wide. I think they've done pretty well in forcing the plays in behind on wide, but then you've got like Hwang and Cunha, neither of them have really threatened in behind from the central spaces. Here goes Semedo on the right hand side. He's taking on Johnson, or Emerson Royale, who doesn't foul him. It's funny when you hear the crowd just like shouting, and he's away here. Sarr makes the willing run inside. There's one really good thing about this player as well, Sarr. He's so athletic. He gets around the pitch so much. He's very, very good at that. I'm not sure if he's necessarily got the technical ability, but I think he makes up for it with the way that he plays. Well, that's a ball inside. He's got a lot of space here. Pedro Porro plays it wide. And Son plays it out for a goal kick. Lamina gets pushed by Kulusevski. Got to be careful, this Spurs. I know they're aggressive. I know they're aggressive. Obviously, we saw that against Chelsea, but it cost them against Chelsea. They were over the top. Some of the challenges in that game, man, even before the red card, they absolutely should have. They should have been sent off for. So why risk a game like this? What's happened here? Has the ball got to go out of the? Here's the thing. Obviously, with this new rule about goal kicks, they're allowed to be taken within the. I don't even know what. Yeah, yeah. So what he was doing there is actually giving Wolves the opportunity to play out again because Spurs had encroached on the penalty area. That's a lovely touch. That really nice. Again, he shouldn't be blowing there. He should play. He should play on. I don't like how this refereed his last minute or two. That's, obviously, that's like the rest of it, but you can't keep blowing up for fouls when the whole point of the way that this Wolves team are playing, the whole point of it is that they're trying to beat the Spurs press, and if you give free kicks, even if they're in Wolves' favour, it's there's some Semedo space. Oh, that's a terrible challenge. Terrible challenge from Royale, and this is the kind of thing he can do. It reminds me a bit of who's that fullback who used to play for Spurs years ago, and he used to put in stupid challenges as well. Can't remember. It's a shocking challenge. He stretches for it, stretches and slides in for it, completely misses it, and inevitably takes out the player. Trying to remember who it was. I think he played for PSG afterwards. I've forgotten who it was now, but yeah, he was another one who was just like happy to throw in reckless challenges and often get sent off. Emerson Royale did he get booked? 5 minutes of added time. Don't think he got booked. Free kick for Wolves. They're just level with the edge of the penalty area. But so actually, well, not so much level. It's actually pretty close to the right hand edge of the penalty area. Still waiting for this. Lamina's hanging back. There's a chance. Nori takes the shot, deflected out for a corner. There were definitely opportunities there for that Wolves free kick. They ended up playing it kind of outside the penalty area, so Nori shot with his right foot. He's not right-footed. I think that's a bit of a waste, that one. I don't know why you would avoid playing it aerially, because I think Wolves have got better players aerially. There's a chance for Lamina, headed over the bar. Is that a corner again? Another corner. Tete, I think, got no. Yeah, that should be a goal kick to Wolves, that. Not Wolves, sorry. Goal kick to Spurs. That's nice. Headed out by Spurs. It should be fairly easy for Wolves to play back into a dangerous position. He's fumbled his way through there, just about. That was nice. Bellegarde, he's taking him out again there. Just beaten. This Spurs team can be beaten by dribbles. Absolutely. And I do think eventually someone needs to be booked from this Spurs team, because it's a lot of small niggly fouls, but they're not like stonewall red cards. But eventually someone's got to get booked. And that I don't mind the game being stopped for. Absolutely. Let's see what happens from this then. Another free kick. Ain't Nori over it, I think. That's oh, I think Totti was trying to head the ball and then up kind of shouldering it towards the goal. Yeah, and it loops up and Vicario's got it. Another offside, this time against Spurs. Offside. Oh no, free kick for Wolves. And a yellow card for Basuma. And Basuma's going to be suspended as well. That's ooh, that's against City. That's not good. It's a terrible challenge as well. Look at that. I think that's more a kind of a totting up process, to be fair. I've got to say. That's nice. There's a chance. Royale could be played in here. He's in behind, but he's not left footed. He's not going to take that shot. That was quite funny. Son plays him in, but he's clearly on his left foot, so he's not going to be able to shoot from there. And this is the problem with playing someone like Royale at left back, because his left foot just almost doesn't exist. Oh dear. Not that great. That's an easy corner for Spurs. This will probably be the last action of the game, of the half, sorry. Pedro Porro to take this corner. This will probably be the last because we've gone over to 5 minutes. That's an interesting header from Davis because well wide. That'll probably be that for the first half. So the plan is I'm going to be doing an ad break on Twitch. No ads on YouTube. Well, not from me anyway. No ads on YouTube from me. And that is half time. What do I think of that? I think Spurs. This shows the value of being able to dominate the game through game state, and they've basically established this match through going 1-0 up so early, and that means that they've been able to play. There's no pressure on Spurs to go and score another goal. They do want to, I think, at this point because they know that Wolves have got a threat, but Spurs have set themselves up really well, and this does mean because they haven't run away with it. If Wolves get back into this game and neutralise the game, I think they're in the game at that point. They absolutely are, and I think Spurs will be under massive, massive pressure. But Wolves have got to score that goal. They've got to score that goal, otherwise it's just not going to happen. Right, I'll see you guys in a minute. I'm going to put an ad on Twitch, and I will be back after that to chat a little bit more. And for those of you on YouTube and those of you who aren't watching the ad, I'm going to be. What am I going to be doing? I'm going to be. Where have you gone now? Yeah, so I'm just going to put the. Be right back on. I'll break on. There you go. I'll be back in a minute. Hello. Right, welcome back. Sorry, so I left it on, and it turns out they've been playing. Which is great. So get to play careful. The Spurs almost giving the ball away here. I've got to do the scoreboard as well, haven't I? Have a look. So what are we on? 48. I think we might just wait until we get to 49, to be fair. The ball in behind. Oh, that was a good chance, that, for Wolves. Very, very good chance. Almost on 49 minutes. And now. Okay, cool. Right, we should be there. Sorry about that, guys. I was sitting there having my lunch, and then all of a sudden I find out my stream's like 2-3 minutes behind, which is not very helpful. It's a nice touch there from, I think it's Basuma. Emerson Royale, sorry. Had a bit of an interesting first half. It's good going forward, but kind of dodgy defensively. But that's kind of what we expect from a lot of this Spurs back line, to be fair. I wouldn't even go so far as to say they're good going forward, a lot of them. Pedro Porro obviously provided the assist for the goal. He was quite good. Kulusevski just loses the ball there. And Emerson Royale, he's gotten into a couple of good positions, but because he's not left-footed, he looks so uncomfortable trying to kind of go anywhere. And it's like he was in on goal, but he didn't shoot because he's not left-footed. He didn't even want to try a shot with his left foot, which is a bit ridiculous. But there you go. That's how it is. Lamina running in behind, or running at the Spurs defence here, but Spurs are pretty... They're not playing as ridiculous a high line as they did against Chelsea. I think it's worth bearing that in mind, that they're kind of doing a bit of a mid-block, almost. That's a foul. Okay, surprised. He kind of slapped Son in the face there. Here's a chance for Wolves on the other side now. Nuri to Cunha. That's a lovely touch. Cunha still going. Oh, it's a brilliant challenge from Dyer, I think. I'm not absolutely sure, to be fair, because I think it kind of looks like he just kind of flings a foot out in the direction of him and he loses the ball as a result. I'm not sure he actually makes any contact. Now Spurs on the other side. Johnson into Son. Johnson cross is deflected, but it's back with the goalkeeper. Oof. It's quite fortunate there. Kilman. It's a lot of space here for Wolves. In front of Basuma, there should be a player there. I think that's Højbjerg's job, that. He's just kind of left him. That's not a good enough ball, that. Got to be careful there, Spurs trying to play out. They have just about done that. Yeah, so they've got to that wide position, and then nothing's happened. They've just like waited for the ball. There's no ball available into the box. So I think almost like Wolves' best opportunity for scoring. Goodness me, that was shocking from Vicario. He's not been that good today. He's been pretty dodgy. It's almost like he feels like he has to force it because of where he's at with the because where the team's at. He can't really necessarily go through Dyer. He has to kind of go straight to the fullback. Kulusevski challenges, but loses out there. It's that step overs it is, isn't it? Yeah. Still going. That was nice. Lovely play. Fullback's done really well here. Nuri plays it back into him. Oh my goodness, what a terrible shot. Cunha. Really nice. It's the adventure of the fullback there. that unlocks the Spurs defence, and then they just kind of play it in and in and in. Cunha finds himself in the penalty area, tries to shape it with his right foot, but it goes well over, well wide. But yeah, Wolves are looking a lot more threatening now. And I think this is where, when you think that Spurs' next game is City, oh no, it's not. It's Villa. Oh, okay. I said earlier that it was City. It's not. It's Villa. That is still not good though. They're a good team with Villa. That's a foul, ref. Nope. Play on. Wolves are playing pretty well here. Need a good ball in. Good blocked. It's got to be said, I think, if they try and do some of the things they're doing today against Villa, they're going to get ripped apart. If they try and do some of the things they've done against City, they'll get ripped apart. So that's an awful ball in, and somehow that might have ended up. João Gomez. Oh, it's fallen to him. Oh, what a miss. What a miss for Hwang Hee-chan. Oh, my days. It's an awful corner, but it's not cleared by Porro. Comes out to the edge of the box. Someone takes a shot. It flicks off of Dyer or off of Davies, and Chan is just in on goal. They've also got the ball again here. What's going on? Spurs have just been—they're all over the place. They don't want to try and keep the ball. They just keep giving it away. Someone needs to take control here and just. Chan didn't need to make that challenge, man. Didn't need to. Did not need to. I don't know how he misses that, Chan. He isn't right-footed, to be fair. But I think he's got a good enough right foot. He should be able to score that. Pretty shocking. I think this is why I'm not a massive fan of the streams on TNT Sports, by the way, because when they run ads, they don't run them concurrently with the. Well, that's nice. That's in. They're in behind here. Spurs. Kulusevski on the right hand side cuts inside. Still on his left foot. It's going to go for the shot. That's a well blocked. Very well blocked, Dawson. Yeah, I think if he decided to go down the line, Kulusevski rather than inside, I think they have a really good chance of scoring there. Really, really good chance. Wolves making it the game they want it to be, which is a lot more open, so they can get this goal. It's in behind for Chan, but I don't think it's going to do anything there. It's going to run at the goalkeeper, though, definitely. There's a chance. Oh, Chan gets something in the face. Oh, no, it's not Chan, sorry. Who was it? Gomez. Don't really mention his name that much. It's not been that great. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Oh, right. Well, that's an interesting ball, but it's just kind of 50-50s galore here, but Wolves have got it back inside the Spurs half. It's not a good ball, that, though. Højbjerg plays it out to Son. He's looking for the ball in behind again for Kulusevski, but very well played by Totte. Again, Spurs. Oh dear, Son's just given it. He's not had the best of games. He wasn't really involved in the goal, and that's nice. Well played. Wolves are just about playing out of that press from Spurs. Nice ball out wide. They've got to play it quick now because they've got the space. Højbjerg. Not Højbjerg, sorry. Porro. Porro? Davies. Davies has gone to left back? Oh no, he's just following in. So it's like Spurs are playing with a back three off the ball. Which is interesting. And they're allowing Emerson Royal to really push up on the Wolves right midfielder. And that's it's risky because if he makes that move in, he kind of pushes them. And I think that's probably what Wolves need to do right now is use their wingers to push in. Great ball by Dawson out to the right wing. That's another corner. Yep, corner to Wolves. Bear in mind, I think at this rate, given how Wolves haven't really played that well, I'd say even if they get a point here, I think they'll be happy. Absolutely. I think Spurs will be annoyed if they don't win this game. I think that's where the bar is right now because they've scored early and kind of held them out for all this time. This is kind of how a lot of Spurs games have gone, though. They've scored. Oh, it's another terrible corner, man. Another one. It's Nuri. Get him off, man. Get another left-footed. Is he injured? Oh no. And the thing is that this Wolves team have got some good height. I've been saying earlier that that Spurs team doesn't really look like he's offside. He's got to be offside. Johnson with the Harry and he gets it away. Got to be careful here, Dawson. That's well played out. That's a Totti. And now on the left-hand side, Cunha plays it. That might not stay in. It does do. Oh, that's another bad challenge by Porro. It happens a lot. They dive in for these tackles, man. Might be just because it might just be confirmation bias, but I just feel like they're going for challenges and they're very quick to try and compete, which is fine. Now, I do think against the more technically, and this is like what Chelsea showed us, against the more technically able teams, I think Spurs are going to struggle if they do that kind of aggressive approach because they'll know what to look for. They'll look for the foul. They'll look for the yellows, the reds, and fouls in dangerous situations. Right, free kick for Wolves. Let's see if we got a better delivery this time. That's better. That's really nice. Oh, how has that not gone in? Oh. That's gone all the way across the goal. In front of two Wolves players, neither of whom get a touch. I tell you what, that header, is that Sarr who clears it? It's a brilliant, brilliant header to clear it. Because that's going in. Bellegarde's taken over the corner and free kick duties, and I agree with that because the rest of them have been absolutely shocking. Well, that wasn't that great either, to be fair. I'd play at far post and see if you can get a bit of an outnumber on the far post there. That's not quite there. Got to be careful here, Wolves. They've committed players forward, but that's nice. Bellegarde plays it out. And here goes Cunha on the left-hand side. They need to get him more in the game here because he is a good player. Cunha is away from the Spurs players and gets another corner. This is better. Wolves are really pressing here. Cunha with the ball in. Oh, again, it's just gone to the far post, but it's just a little bit too fizzed. A little bit too fizzed. And beats the man at the back post. Bentancur's coming on. That makes sense. He is their only other real midfield option. Surprised he didn't play today, to be fair. I'm surprised they went with Højbjerg over Bentancur, given there must be an injury issue, I think, because Bentancur's quite a good player. Yeah. Well, yeah. Vicario playing it long. And I think if you force them to play at long, Spurs, they don't really have an option. That's nice. Dyer clears it. They don't have an option if you force them to play it long, and I think that's just, people talk about the Havertz signing for Arsenal and say it was a silly, it was an awful signing, a waste of money. But I would say we don't really have anyone else in the team right now who can help us beat that press, but is also technically good enough to be able to play in the team. From a technical point of view, Havertz is absolutely good enough to play in the team. He can hold the ball, he can play the ball, he can, well, less said about his shooting the better, but like he can pass the ball. He's got an eye for a pass. So when you compare that to Spurs, Spurs don't have anyone like that who's got a height advantage, who can win the ball in the air. And that little passage of play kind of showed Wolves had set the press in such a way that they weren't allowing Spurs to play the ball. Here's a chance. Oh, the bounce favours Dyer massively there. He's very, very fortunate. Oh, it's gone out for a goal kick in the end. It's very, very fortunate, Dyer. Got to say, Spurs. Ref is being very almost unnecessarily pernickety over goal kicks. I feel like they should just kind of let them play it, unless the person who encroaches. I don't think that was a foul throw. Okay, they've been allowed to take the throw again. Matt Doherty, ex-Spurs, didn't have a good time at Spurs really. So he's back at Wolves. Lovely ball out wide. Yeah, that's nice. Oof. It's a robust challenge there. Got to be. They are. That was a bit quicker from Spurs. Definitely a bit quicker in the challenge. And it is. Yeah, I think it's difficult not to speak as an Arsenal fan here, but I think it is disappointing on it. Here's a chance though. Lamina. He's wonderful. Oh dear, that's a terrible ball though. They've Wolves haven't really engineered, I think, enough of a threat for me to think they've made Spurs have to work for this. I think, given where Spurs are at, and everyone talked about how Spurs are really struggling in the league this season. Now that's not, well, they're not right now, but you know what I mean. If they win this, they go top of the table, and they will be top of the table tonight if they win. But it's also worth saying if they've gone into this game and that's another. They've just given the ball away again there, Spurs. With all the injuries and suspensions, they don't. They definitely look like a worse team, but they're still getting away with it, which is, yeah, it's kind of like, I think there's a lot of teams that Arsenal would probably what's. Oh, okay, right, offside. Okay, yeah. So they did. Yep, they did. They took the free kick inside the Wolves half. What have you done there, man? What was that? Cunha. That's, yeah. Any words spring to mind? That's a ball in behind for Son. And the referee's not put the whistle with not put the flag up. And they've got to play to the whistle here, guys. You can't allow them to play it. Works it right to Højbjerg eventually. Got the Arsenal Burnley lineups, which I will get up now, I think, because it's a corner to Spurs even. Might even be able to. Man United. Zinchenko starting for Arsenal. Burnley are unchanged. And Nketiah's on the bench, which is nice to see. Sagu Jr. and Walters and Ibrahim are on the bench. That's interesting. So it's not a very strong bench at all for Arsenal. Raya, Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel. There's a corner for Spurs. Almost cleared. Not quite cleared again. Gone out to Porro. That's nice. It's gone right to the far post, but cleared. That was an interesting touch from Basuma. Bentancur keeps it. Basically the same team that played Sevilla, apart from Zinchenko in for for Ben White. Interesting. Wonder why Ben White's not playing. Son has the ball outside the box. Played wide to Kulusevski. It's a dig ball, far post, but goalkeeper's got that, no problem. I'm really surprised at that. Where's Ben White? He is not on the bench either, which says to me either he's rested or he's injured. One would hope he's not injured, but there you go. And then Man United, I've got Onana, Delo, Lindelof, Maguire. I'll just break off for a second. Wolves could be attacking here. That's a foul. Okay. Basuma's got to be careful. He has already been booked. That's a risky challenge to put in when you're already booked. I think he dives in here. Yeah, he dives in there. He doesn't win the ball. He's very, very lucky. He's lucky not to get sent off, given the fact that the referee blew for a foul. I don't actually think it's a foul. I think he actually gets the ball, to be fair. But the fact that he gives a foul and the position that he's in, I think he should be sent off. So there you go. Delo, Lindelof, Maguire, Ericsson, Reguilon, Ericsson. Here's the ball in from Wolves. That's shocking. Shocking. Garnacho, Fernandes, Rashford, Højlund. Pretty straightforward team from Man United, playing Reguilon at left back, which makes sense. So ball from Bentancur is intercepted. We've got to be careful here. Oof. Kulusevski's a bit late on Totti. Yeah. I mean, if Luton get a point against Man United or even win that game, it'd be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Not something I would expect, of course. It's got a run at him here, surely. Chan goes wide. That's a nice... I say that, he's just giving it away, but Wolves have got it back straight away. On the right-hand side now, he's going to put the ball in the box. Oh, it's just over the top of the defender, of the attacker there. Really good chance. That's gone up. No, it's not. Oh, now Højbjerg's in here. Højbjerg's in, and he's played it in for Johnson. Johnson! Wow. That was a shocking finish. Don't tell me he's injured. It's Brennan Johnson. Yeah, he's. I think he might be done here. I think Johnson's done for tonight, for today even. Kaladzic coming on. Well, Wolves are leaving this late now. They've not been that great. They really haven't. They've not been good enough, I would say. Given I think the amount of chances that Spurs have given them, especially from balls in the box and that kind of thing, they've just not really taken advantage. The amount of play. that Spurs haven't had in this game. And you've got to give credit to them as well. Like they've done all right. Oh, that's a terrible touch, and he just about wins it back. He's very, very, very fortunate. Wolves almost gave away a great chance. Now they could be away on the counter. Well spotted. Pedro Porro clears it. The ball wide for Wolves. Again, they keep getting into these free areas on the right hand side and the left hand side, but they're not really, especially if they're in the right, they've not been that great. They've been a lovely touch. Gone wide again. There's always the spare man. Cunha tries to clip a ball into the box. That was nice from Kilman. He balanced it on top of his head. That was hilarious. It was really good. Nori flicks it into the middle. The deflection just takes it past the Wolves player. Another ball in behind, but it's not gonna come to anything. Brian Hill is coming on. Brennan Johnson, obviously the goal scorer here, and that's what's made the difference in this game. I think it's kind of, this is what, when you're the home team and you're the underdog, the last thing you want to do is concede a goal early on. This is how Arsenal, I remember last season, Arsenal killed so many games last season by just going 1-0 up really early. It silences the home crowd. It makes it very difficult for them to get back, and Wolves have suffered from that, and they've had to kind of build their way back into this game to a point now where they are threatening, but not really been good enough. Basuma's off as well for Lo Celso. Wonder why. I don't know why they're doing that. This is a very attacking sub. I do wonder whether it's just players available. I don't think they've got that many defensive players left, given they've lost 2 centre backs and the left back. It's just a long hoof. That should be fairly straightforward. Dyer clears it. I think this is that's a little flick over the defender. Spurs control it, and they've got the ball in the midfield now, popping it around relatively confidently. Lo Celso is a player who you can get on the ball, and he'll be quite good. Always a chance. Kulusevski. Oh, it's well played by the goalkeeper. Has Kulusevski caught the goalkeeper here in the head? Oof. That's bad. I don't know why Kulusevski leaves his foot in like that as well. I know they're not saying that. The commentators are saying it's not malicious. I just don't know why. Why would you leave your foot in there when you know you're not going to win the ball? I think it does get to a point where Kulusevski knows he's not going to win it. So why would you leave your foot in? Really, really silly. Really silly. Well, we've still got about 13 minutes left plus stoppage time, so still an opportunity for Wolves to get back into this. I think they do really need to. But yeah, Wolves don't look quite good enough to be able to do this. As an Arsenal fan, I suppose this gives me a little bit of hope. When we play Wolves, we're not going to suffer the same fate as Man City, who, to be fair, lost to this Wolves team. So I can't remember whether that was at City or away at Wolves. I can't remember, but they don't look as much of a threat as I was expecting. Got to be honest. I don't know how that's a foul, ref. Lo Celso kind of pushes him and gives the foul as a result. But there you go. That's that is how it is. Totti on the left. That's offside. Nope. Yeah, offside. Again, it's just Wolves are really struggling with this high line. They can't necessarily deal with it. They don't have the runners to go in behind. Which is interesting, given all the talk about this high line and the amount of people who have been saying it's a foolhardy tactic. I think a lot of it was more kind of in the context of Spurs are down to 9 men. Why would you carry on playing a high line with 9 men? It's much easier to doing it with 11 than 9. It's got to be said that I think this Spurs team have done pretty good with the high line today. It's definitely limited. We'll have what intervention from Totti there, just shoulders Kulusevski off the ball. Kulusevski must be absolutely shattered now, I think. Played most of the game, has not really had that much of an influence apart from the goal, I think. Lovely ball out wide. Again, they've got space here. He can run at here's Lamina. Oh, how has he not scored? It's a terrible shot from Lamina, and then Nuri just miscontrols it in the box. Goodness me. Lamina's in on goal, and if he had a left foot, he'd shoot. But for some reason, he pulls it back. Oh. Ben Davies with the block. But to be fair, it wasn't particularly difficult. It's just good positioning. He's kind of fortunate. If Lamina plays it forward a bit more, it's into the Wolves player and he scores. Oh, Son's in here. No, he's not. Goalkeeper's there. That's not a good header out. Son recycles it. Got to say the players that have stepped in for Spurs today, Dyer, Davies, Emerson Royale, ish, and who else has stepped in? Højbjerg. Not been too bad. Been pretty good. Admittedly, they've not been tested. I think this Wolves team have shown that a better team than Wolves will undoubtedly give this Spurs team a heck of a lot more problems. And I think I'd worry for this Spurs team if Romero and I've forgotten his other name now. That's a foul. Kalajdzic just pushes over Højbjerg. If they're still without Romero and what's his face? Van der Ven, who will be out for that game, definitely. Romero, I think, he's got a 3-game ban, so I think he'll be out as well. So that means that the game against Villa, City, and I think they've got, was it Newcastle? I've forgotten. Let's see. City, West Ham at home. Difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Spurs get the ball out. Here's a chance. Got to play it back to him there. He's lucky. He's lucky. Spurs just kind of popping the ball about here. Wolves not really pressing high enough, although they just did there. That's good. Better from Spurs. Kilman with the long. It's that long diagonal again. Wolves look for it so often, and I think in the first half they caught out Spurs a couple of times with it. The second half they've not really been at it at all. It's not worked. It's definitely not worked. Yeah. Well, that's not a foul apparently, but that's a nice. Not really. That's an interesting flick from Porro. He's just let Wolves in here. Ain't Nori. He's just going to run. He's just going to keep running. He's going to keep running. That's a good clearance again. That's what they need. Wolves need a bit of electricity now, I think. So they've looked a little dead in the last 5 minutes, I've got to say. Not really been at it. Outside of that chance. Oh, don't let him take this. Oh, dear. These corners and free kicks have been absolutely shocking from Wolves today. I don't think he's not beaten the second man again. They could have done. That's kind of the disappointment. That's a lovely ball. He could be in here. Oh, Kaladzic. I think heads it wide. In on goal. Completely free. To be fair, I think it's difficult to score from there unless you get the header absolutely right. And he doesn't. He gets it well wide at the end. But he needed to kind of loft that over the goalkeeper. Hill gets it played around him. Doherty's trying to test his ex-Spurs teammate. And Emerson Royale's been fouled there by Doherty. It's not that great. I don't think Doherty's ever going to beat Emerson Royale for pace, which is part of the problem here, I think. And then what do you do? What else do you do? You need to get a bit of trickery, get him on his outside because he's not left-footed, he's right-footed. Ping a ball in the box. But I think this is so disappointing for Wolves today. I don't think they'll play a worse game against the top six this season. I'm trying to think who they've actually played out of the top six. That's not a foul. Referee's saying play on. Referee's also saying play on there. Interesting. It's kind of taking a complete opposite approach to... What? Okay. It's not been it's not been a particularly I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute this, take this off here so I can hear the alerts and everything like that, and then we're just going to crack on like that, I think, because I tend to be a little bit quiet when I'm watching this. If I'm listening to the commentary, there's just like no need for me to talk, but I need to keep talking, to be fair. I'll still be able to watch the game, so that's fine. Wolves starting to press, and Vicario should clear it. No, he's playing it wide, and in the end, Wolves get the ball back. Totti, and then eventually back to the goalkeeper. Wolves have got to get some kind of pressure on this Spurs backline here. I think this is yet another game where Spurs this season, I think it was Luton and Sheffield United, they've kind of huffed and puffed to a win, but they've never really looked that convincing. I think if they end up kind of mounting a title challenge off of these kind of performances, which, to be fair, I mean, you've got to win games. There isn't necessarily anything wrong with that from a pure results point of view. But if you look at the way that Arsenal played, you look at the way that City played, you look at the way that Liverpool play, like, I don't think in flashes Spurs play. Here we go. Here's a chance. He's ran right into a completely dead end, and now Hill brings it away for Spurs. But that's well played. I say that he's beaten him here, and he's set him up. Son might be offside here, but Son takes on the shot. It's well wide. Kulusevski still has it. Kulusevski's going to go with his left. I thought he was going to go with his right. Pulls it back. Great save. Great save, Lo Celso had a chance to finish the game there. But yeah, this is like, if you look at the way that those teams play, like I suggested, I think, and he was onside there, Son, as well. I think you've got to say that Spurs, like they're good, threatening from counters, but like they're not. I don't really fancy them. I think that having watched them today, watched them against Chelsea. Admittedly, I haven't watched them before, but this is a very classic kind of 1-0 away, kind of take the points and run kind of result. The problem is it's against a Wolves team that haven't really tested them that much, and yet Spurs are still making it look like a difficult job. That's a nice corner, that. It's gone cleared just about in the end. It's nice, he gets the touch there. Oh, that's a cynical foul. And then Kulusevski. Yeah. I feel like he took off Basuma earlier as well because of the yellow card he'd already had. So you got to kind of think, well, you don't want him staying on at this point in the game when you probably need to put in a challenge to stop an attack and take a yellow, because that's essentially what Bentancur did there. But yeah, if Spurs win, they roll on. They've got a couple of big games against Villa and Man City to come, and that'll probably be where they'll be tested. But I think if you spoke to a lot of people today, they would have expected Wolves to get a point out of this at least. Maybe even get a win. But they haven't. Myself included. Like I was definitely expecting a better performance from Wolves, trying to test this Spurs team, but they are very much, I think. Well, we always knew that Spurs were a good team. I think if they had the correct manager, that's nice. Oh, there's a chance! It's a goal for Wolves! It's a goal for Wolves! Can you believe it? Last minute, we're into 90 minutes, and it's a nice ball in behind. The ball's on the left-hand side. They had the ball again, but then someone ran him inside Davies. I don't actually know who it was. I don't even know who it was, but he scored. It's a great shot near post. And I tell you what, Tottenham have blown it. They've absolutely blown it. It's a great ball here. It's this ball in. It's this ball. It's a great first touch, and then he just volleys it near post. That's the most clinical finish today. Absolutely clinical finish. Sarabia with the finish. And now we've got, I don't know how many minutes of added time, but it's a great finish from Sarabia. What a goal that is. That is a fantastic finish. And it's that ball in behind, which they've been threatening to do sometimes. But that has that clinical nature. It's the first time we've seen that from Wolves today. First time. They've not had any other clinical moments today until the 90th minute. And I was just talking about how this is probably going to be one of those games where Spurs have taken the 3 points and ran. Well, they're going to only take 1 point at this point. And I want to say almost at most, but Spurs still have a lot of attacking players on the pitch. There's a good chance they could potentially play their way out. It's going to be another foul for Hill. I've got to say as well, bringing on a player like Hill, he's a bit of a foul magnet because he's so small. Like, it doesn't take much to push him down. Dyer. Here's the Wolves press. This is what we were expecting. It's going to go out for a goal kick, I think. Yeah. If I were Wolves, I would just go at this press because they've got Kulusevski and Son, who have been on the pitch all the time, and Hill, who's not going to threaten anyone for pace. I don't think. I think they should go for this because there's a really good chance that that Wolves could end up getting the win here. And quite rightly, I think they're not. Spurs aren't playing the ball out from the back this time. They're just lumping it upfield and trying to kind of reset. Here's the ball out wide again. I think it's the number 11 for Wolves, who's done very, very well here. That's going to be a foul for Spurs, that. Who's the number 11 for Wolves? Obviously, I'm a lot more interested. Oh, no, it's not. Have Spurs just given that away from the free kick? That's weird. Ah, that's a terrible ball, that. Straight into Dyer. Spurs making this difficult for themselves. They're playing it out, and now it's another free kick. So who's the number 11 for Spurs? This is what I want to ask. Not Spurs, Wolves. Here's Chan. Chan has been the one to unlock this Spurs defence. It was his run that I think set off the goal as well. Oh, it's Cunha, sorry. Never mind. Spurs playing it about the back. Son. And then Son just fouls him. He gets hit in a very sensitive area, apparently, does Son. Apparently. And Spurs have got a free kick, I think. What's this? I mean, Spurs, like, can you see what happens there? So I don't know how Wolves give away the free kick there. That doesn't make sense because Son has been challenged. He's lost the ball, and then he just grabs hold of Dawson and stops him from getting anywhere. Well, Dawson's got booked as well for it, which is remarkable. But there you go. What? Well, it's a Spurs free kick from the left-hand side, right next to the byline. About 50, 55 yards out. So they'll probably just lump this in the box, hope for the best. That's kind of what it's come to now for Spurs. I just don't think, as much as Wolves haven't threatened as much, Spurs haven't shown any kind of dominance in the game. They've lost control of this game ever since half-time, almost, you could argue. So ball in, comes in now. That's gone just wide. They tried the same thing they did against Chelsea as well. You know, got to be careful here, Spurs. Wolves are going to be in behind if they're not careful. That's another foul. No, he gets the ball. It's actually a brilliant tackle, to be fair. Lo Celso does really, really well. And then he gets a free kick. What's he going on about here, Cunha? And then Doherty gets booked for some reason. It feels a bit chaotic, the end of this game. That, to be fair, this is kind of what we're expecting. A massive, massive point for Wolves, this, given I don't think they've played that well. What's the ref doing here? Okay, he's playing on, right. I don't think Wolves have played that well. And yet they're still getting a point out of this at this rate at the moment. Crazy. Nice touch from Pedro Porro, but well cleared. Spurs. This is kind of the way that both teams are rushing at the ball here. It's kind of asking for a challenge or two. Kalajdzic almost gets away with the ball. And that's a foul. Yeah. Wolves will get the free kick this time. They've allowed it to be played on. Here we go. Wolves in on the right-hand side. He's left-footed as Sarabia. Oh, he's in! He scored! Is he offside? No, he's not. It's 2-1 to Wolves. Can you believe it? Lemina has won the game for Wolves, I think. Let's just wait for the offside. But what a shocker for Spurs. What an absolute shocker for Spurs. Oh, my days. How has this happened? I wouldn't say, and again, I'm bringing this back, I've been saying it all game, Spurs haven't been playing that well, but they've held out. Goodness me. What a turnaround. 2 goals in at the end of 90 minutes. Is there a foul anywhere here? No, the ball's played out. It's really good play. Really, really good play from Wolves because they take advantage. Sarabia's in on the right-hand side and he's changed this game. This ball, he's onside. He's won the game. It's a brilliant ball in behind. And again, it's Davies and Dyer just stationary. They're not expecting the ball in behind. It's 2-1 to Wolves. And that's probably the last kick of the game as well. Wow. Can you believe those fans would have been sat there for most of this game thinking how... Well, not just thinking like we've really messed up here. But Wolves And Arsenal now, boy, if they beat Burnley later, Arsenal are going to go ahead of Spurs, despite the fact Spurs have had a brilliant start to the season. But there you go. Wow. There we go. Play restarts. And they are going to play on here. It isn't the last kick of the game, but it probably is going to be last chance. Is that Eric Dyer playing up front? Not sure. Looks like no. It's Kulusevski. Spurs looking for a late equaliser, a really late equaliser. And the thing is, they're playing, and that's it. That is full time. The whistle is gone. It's 2-1 to Wolves. What a win for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Can you believe this? Spurs take another blow in their quest to finish in the top four. In a game that they scored early on, and you thought they were just seeing out the win, a tough away win in the Premier League, but they've lost 2 goals in the space of, 5 minutes at the end of the game? What were the timings of those goals? I'm just going to check. 90 plus 1, 90 plus 7. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Cannot believe what I've just seen. To be fair, I can. I think it just needed a couple of good balls in behind. And that's how it happened. The first one from the left-hand side from Chan into Sarabia, and the second one, it's Sarabia who sets up Lamina, and wow, just wow. As an Arsenal fan, obviously, I know I'm biased. I wanted Spurs to lose this game, of course I did, but at the same time, I think if you're a Spurs fan and you're watching this, you're wondering how have you lost this game. You just needed to hold on for another 6 minutes and you've won, and you've lost 2 goals. But it means that the Spurs' next few games now are huge because they're playing Villa at home, City away, and if they're not careful, this is already two losses in a row. They could end up with 4 or 5 losses in a row and right down into the middle of the table when they were talking about being a title contender only a couple of weeks ago. So, goodness me, what a way to end the game. So there you go. That is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. And there you go. Actually, my time has elapsed. It's run out massively. There you go. So it's not even too. In all the excitement, I didn't even update the scoreline. Let me just do this quickly. There you go. As it stands, Spurs are on 26, Liverpool 24, Arsenal 24. Obviously, City top with 27. They'll love this result because it means that now Wolves are. Oh, sorry, it means that they'll potentially establish a 4-point lead over Spurs, and they'll be 3 points clear at the top of the table by the end of the weekend if they beat Chelsea. So, and it looks like Arsenal won't be top. Well, it looks like Spurs won't be top at all now. That'll be it. And yeah, that is that. Thank you very much for watching and contributing, everyone who has contributed. Thank you for the chats from Kanto. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be watching Chelsea against Man City. A really, really big game. And we'll see what happens with that. But for now, I'll see you next time.